Hi, this is Brigham Wilson from Earthwalk Orthotics, and the purpose of today's short training video is to highlight how to take a quality foot scan for foot orthotics. If you're looking at the screen right now, you'll notice we're in the scanning screen of Earthwalk's new iScan app. I'm going to go ahead and click on Scan the Right Foot, and you guys will see now I've got our corporate director, Mark, here sitting in the conference room, and his foot is up on this stool. Now, I know this isn't a clinical setting, but let's assume that Mark is sitting on the patient's table in your clinic. The first and most important element of a quality good scan is to make sure the foot is hanging 6 to 8 inches over the edge of the patient table. In this case, it's our stool, okay? Another really important element for taking a quality scan is to make sure that we've got a clear depiction of the patient's met heads. Okay. Now, in some instances, doctors will use the sulcus stick to help with foot positioning. So let's assume that we positioned Mark's foot. You'll notice in this video, Mark has the sulcus stick nestled under his toes. It does not cover the met heads, right? In order to get a quality scan, we need to have a clear depiction of these met heads. All right, now if you're positioning the foot with your fingers instead of the sulcus stick, the same principle would apply. I can't have my thumb over top the met heads, right? Because that would affect our ability to measure that digital scan. Okay, so again, make sure that you're not covering up those met heads. Okay, some of the other elements of a quality scan I can demonstrate for you while I take this scan. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that his foot, if it's yellow, that means his foot's at the back edge of that virtual box. If it's maroon, that means it's at the front edge. I want it to be a nice bright red right in the middle of that virtual box. I'm going to hit scan. Now, I'm going to pause for 5 seconds while this scan fills in. Okay, that's really important. Now you can see the plantar surface of the foot is nice and clean and filled in. There's no holes. Slowly now, I'm going to go ahead and capture Mark's lateral column. Again, once I get to the lateral side of the foot, I'm going to pause and wait while the model fills in. 5 seconds. Great. Now I'm going to go ahead and capture the medial column of Mark's foot. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pause 5 seconds. You should see that this model is nice and smooth. There's no holes. The last piece of this is to make sure I capture the heel profile. Now, in a clinical setting, you guys would have the patient's foot elevated up. Mark's going to raise his foot here. Obviously, when you're scanning a patient's foot, you never want them to move around. I just wanted, for the purposes of this video, to show you that, you're going to do the same thing and capture that heel. Let it fill in. Come back to center. And I'm going to hit the scan button and we're going to generate this model. Now, if you look at this model that we've created, you can see there's no holes. We've got a clear depiction of the met heads. We've got a clear depiction of the medial column, the lateral column, and the heel. Okay, so once it's done filling in, we will be able to look at this in a couple of different views to make sure all the stuff that we need is included. I like going to the x-ray view, and you can see, right, we've got a really nice, smooth scan of Mark's foot. You can see the medial column, the lateral column, and the heel. So that right there is a really nice, high-quality scan. After I've reviewed the scan and I feel comfortable with it and confident that all those key elements have been achieved, I would hit the check button. Now, if I didn't like the scan, I just hit the X and I rescan, right? And that's the beauty of this iPad scanning technology as well, is if you don't like the scan, then go ahead and just hit the X button and redo it. And then once you feel comfortable with the scan and its quality, you go ahead and hit the check and you're all done.